Hello everyone, Don here again with the next update on the W.A.R Corsair project. Alright, this weekend, as you can see, I went ahead and worked on the ailerons and the last flap on the outboard flap. As you can see, it's all attached, hooked up. The flap is, linkage is there, but you know, it articulates up and down just like the rest of them do. I had to do some clearancing down inside, you know, along the top edge of this. Then I got the aileron. The aileron needed a little fitting. Everything's pinned. The flaps are all ready for pins after I'm happy with everything. This one's going to need, it really may not need a pin because it's not a rotating bolt. It tightens up tight against the ball and the arm, so it may not require one, but it does have a lock nut on it. These ones, generally, because the bolt can move with it, pretty sure it's going to need a nylon lock, castle nut, and a pin. But these bolts here, these three on each aileron, they're not drilled bolts yet, so I'm either going to have to buy new bolts that are drilled, or I'll just buy a jig that you screw the bolt into and you can drill your own holes, which be useful in the future, I guess. As you can see here, I have a little mark. That's where the tip of the point of the star for the Insignia will go. The very tip of that star right there will go right on that point, and then basically it'll just be level across there. So what I need to do now is cut out the stencils like that. These are 19-inch circles. The Insignia is size is determined by the diameter of the star. So that's a 19-inch circle. The wings are bigger, they're 24-inch. But as you can see, the aileron push-pull tube is here, comes out and ties into the bell crank at the end of the wing. As you can see out here, I can actuate the aileron up and down with that. So everything works nice and smooth, other than me rubbing on this here. But when it's hooked up, it don't rub. And then of course the last flap linkage will hook on here. So I may still need to do a little clearancing up in here after this wing is hooked up and installed. And then the cover, remember, goes across here that I still have to make. And as you can see, I got the plane moved around a little bit. So another thing I managed to get done is I decided to work on the kill decals. Oh, something I didn't mention last week when I was showing this. I forgot to show that. I got the elevator trim motor all installed, wired up, and working. So now all it's left to do is make this trim tab out of that piece of aluminum I got back there. Okay, so what I did is I went ahead and drew me up some kill decals in my vinyl cutting machine software. I went online and found one, copied, paste, and sized it accordingly, and this is the size I made. Well, after I came out here, I did 20 of them up, so you know it looked like Lulubelle. And I put them on there, and they didn't size right. They were too big. So I had to go in and redesign it, just to show you what the wing looks like from the top, with the other one done. And again, there's that. So what I did is I resized these, made them a little smaller, and this is the final look. And you may notice that it doesn't say Lucy Belle or Lulubelle. Generally in the W.A.R, people would put their sweethearts or their wives' names on their plane, and I'll give you one guess as to what my wife's first name is. Her name is Suzanne. So, since the letters match Lucy Belle, I went ahead and did my own personal touch of Susie Belle. So if we get step back here, a little tight in here, that's kind of what she looks like. And once I get the canopy finished, get the wings on there and everything painted up, it should look pretty good. So that's where we're at. That turned out really nice. Get out of the glare of the lights. But I found a website that did script for cursive writing, and I went through there. They got probably 100 different styles of cursive, and I found the one that looked the closest to the original Lulubelle Insignia. Now these Insignias, as you can see, this is the difference in them. When I had 3 rows up here, 12 of them, they were all the way down here already. So they were too big. So now I think it looks a little more natural. on the correct size for scale. But as you can see, they're all individual. I was going to cut them all out in the red. This is red vinyl on top of matte white, which is the same as this. So you can feel them all, but it's alright, it doesn't matter to me. And this is a non-permanent white. For some reason you can't get the matte and permanent adhesive. So these you can literally peel them off after a while. I was able to peel off these 12. They're on good. They're not going to come off without help. But as you can see, you put them on as close as you can, and they don't go on perfect. And you know, that's the idea. You don't want them perfect. I was going to try and print them all out in one solid sheet, but I couldn't get the program to close up the gap. I couldn't figure out how to do that. So you can see they're a little jagged here or there, but that's alright. That's pretty much how they would do it in wartime. So that's what I got, folks. Not a whole lot to do this week. It took a while to fit those pieces and parts, so that wing's done. I'm going to go ahead and get the stencils cut for the Insignias, and I'm going to try and get those painted next weekend. And then I did go on the other side. As you can see, there's a little overspray here when I painted this blue up here. The stencil ended right here, and it left this. And it was on both sides, and I tried rubbing that off once before. But last night after I came out and worked on it, I went and got out some polish. It was some turtle wax polishing compound, and I got out my little drill with my headlight thing, and I started working on it, one of these things, and I was able to get it off fairly easy with just a little one. So then I went ahead, and this kind of oversprayed all the way under from this lighter blue. It oversprayed quite a bit underneath, and it was tucked back up under the wing a little bit like it is here. You can see how much is here. That's a little too much, excessive for my taste. So I'm going to go ahead and finish polishing that out and maybe take off this stuff on the door here. But it kind of gave me a more of a natural tone line there. But I used the bigger gun with a foam pad to knock that off all the way down to the belly seam. So that's pretty clean looking now. Nothing new inside. A friend stopped over, my friend John, who has the powered parachute. He's talking about this canopy is the last big piece to do. And what I may do is, once I get this all filled and sanded and smoothed out, I may try doing what you call a drape, like I did with the windshield. I might try doing one of those first, just to see if it'll drape over that. In the oven, I'll heat it up and let her and work on it and see if that might work, or do a stretch mold where I stretch it over top, see what it comes out like before I try to make the female mold. But after I get that all filled, sanded, polished, painted, or something, it'll have to sit in the oven to be heated. But we're only talking 100 and some degrees. It's nothing drastic that it shouldn't really hurt the mold. I don't know, we'll see. Either way, you kind of got to warm it up and put plexiglass on there. And with this setup, I can do like I did before, put the flannel cloth on it, pull it tight. It's pretty stretchy, and then I can try and drape a nice warm piece over there and stretch it on. And I mean, it's worth a try before trying to make the female mold. And if it comes out, you know, halfway decent, you know, trim it up and put it on. You know, try to get this thing fit. I can always come back and make more. I can make the female mold and then get into the whole vacuum process if I'm not happy with the looks of that. But it's getting kind of tight in time out here now for doing everything to get it ready to taxi test and such. I still got to get with the FAA. You know, there's nothing to stop me from taxi testing it, but I got to get the FAA up here to do the inspection, give me an airworthiness certificate and such. Still, like a lot of little loose ends, get the windshield tied in. Get the window frame made for it. The canopy, I may just make it clear and throw it on just to get by. Get those little stinking covers made back here. And get the trim tab on, the gear doors all buttoned down, and a bunch of little things that just takes time. So I'm going to go ahead and call her a weekend, get everything else back in here. I can probably leave it just like it is for now. Hopefully after I get these things painted, I don't know if this will move much with the, but they move nice and free. after I get these Insignias painted on. It takes, 3 days to do that, especially now with the cooler weather. Today is only 65 degrees. Yesterday, I don't even think it hit 60. This whole week was below 70 all week. So the weather's taken a drastic turn already. The whole idea of getting this garage all insulated is so I can work out here longer, which I can do, but it may not allow me to get out to the airfield. At the very least, I might be able to just take it across the street into the park there and taxi it around without the wings on, because I don't really need those, just to do some ground handling, braking, testing, and such. So, all right, folks, not much to report this week, but it was a little time consuming getting these things fitted. They were fitted before, but they still needed a little clearancing. Had to do a little cutting out here, widen this out to get a little more room for the hardware in there to attach. So I'll have to go in and re-epoxy this exposed foam and slap a little color back in there with a paintbrush or something. So, all right, that's going to do it for this week's update. Sorry there isn't more, but it took a little while to get those Insignias working and fitted and put on. I still got that tail cone to deal with, but I think it come out really nice looking. I actually brought the wife out here. She didn't know about the name, so I bring her out and she's looking at the stencils and she's like, wow, those turned out real nice. And then all of a sudden she's like, chuckles a little bit and reaches up and touches the Susie on there and it's like, oh geez, so she was kind of surprised by that. Okay, as always, folks, feel free to leave any comments, questions, or concerns. I'll do my best to answer anything that people are coming along. Still, a lot of people are, see these videos and keep asking about where you get the plans for these things. Well, the company's called W.A.R. Aircraft Replicas, like I mentioned last week, and the actual website is called, listed as flywar.com, I'm pretty sure. I posted it in last week's video. So, all right, folks, I appreciate everyone taking the time to watch my videos, and as always, I'll be back next week with the latest update, and hopefully I'll be on the Insignias. All right, guys, we'll see you next weekend. Thanks for watching.